I'm going to have to cut a pocket into the top. And I've been thinking about the best way of making a template for that pocket, and now I've decided to do it this way. I'm going to replicate the shape of the neck, or the shape of the fretboard, by building the template around it. So a piece of wood on either side, pressed in quite snugly, and another piece of wood at the top. And I'm going to glue this one onto these two and clamp everything in quite tightly, and then just leave it. And when it's dry, I will have a template, not an ideal template because there'll be two levels, but I don't know how I could easily put a piece of wood in the middle there and glue them together without first going to a bit of fiddly work cutting it to shape, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be easy. So this is the whip. This is the way I'm going to do it. I've just realized that most of this was out of the camera shot the whole time. So I will forego all the commentary I was giving you at that point and just speed up everything you saw to rush you ahead to where we are now so you can see what I've done. I'm applying pressure in all the right directions. I've got the side pieces being squeezed in, the cross piece being squeezed down, and the cross piece being held level with these, level as in at the right angle that way. Okay, I'll come back shortly when this is dried. The glue is all dried on here now, and that's very nice and snug. It feels good. I was a little bit concerned, well, less than fully satisfied by the fact that there are two different levels here, and so I'm just going to fix that. I've taken some of the wood of which that piece is made, and I'm going to build up each side just by gluing a piece down so that I won't have to worry about how to cope with my router switching between two different levels. So I'll get that glued on, and then I will turn to actually cutting out the pocket, or routing out the pocket from the top. Right, so I'll let that dry, and then we'll be in business. I've cut the pocket out roughly from the top using the bandsaw now, and those drill holes that I put at the end have enabled me to break it out without doing any real damage. I've just done a very short piece with the router. You can see that that works fine, but I am going to have to do quite a bit of moving, at least 2 or 3 moves I think. And here really is the virtue of making your templates large. It would be better if I had larger pieces of wood, say that wide, so I could clamp it all the way out here and clamp it all the way back here instead of having the clamps so close to the hole that I want to cut. That way I wouldn't have to move the clamps because they wouldn't interfere with the router. These were just the pieces that I had handy though. All right, I'd say we're done. Now the only remaining, well, other than filing and sanding if it's slightly too small, which would be good, better slightly too small than too big, but the only remaining cut I'll have to make now is possibly using my chisel, because just due to the shape of the router bit, the corners there are rounded, whereas the corners of the fretboard certainly are not. They're quite square. So I need to cut those rounded parts out with a chisel. Give me a moment and I'll do that. Very little wood that I'm actually cutting out there. And now I will just tidy up that corner with my file. I've already done it to the other corner. I did that while you weren't looking in case it went terribly wrong. Fortunately, it did not. I think I've got this pocket size pretty much right now. It doesn't just drop on, which is good because you don't want it to be loose, but with a relatively light bang, that sits on perfectly. And that's going to be really good when I'm gluing the top on, because it means there's no way that top can slide around. I don't have to go to any great measures to hold it still, because it's very snugly held in by the neck.